Hello, and welcome to EURAXESS Smart Talks.
The Smart Talks podcast series is an EU-funded EURAXESS project which provides information and assistance to researchers at any career stage.
EURAXESS supports the EU research area in its ambition to create a single borderless market for research, innovation and technology in the EU.
We support researchers in mobility, careers within and outside academia, innovation and entrepreneurship.
We strive to increase scientific collaboration between Europe and the world. Hi, I'm Daria, a senior expert at EURAXESS National Contact Point in Latvia.
And I'm Jovan, a teaching and research assistant from the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering in Niš, Serbia.
And you are listening to the EURAXESS Smart Talks podcast. Hi, today with us is Elisa Garcia, who is representative of EURAXESS BHO from Spain. And we have met today in order to clarify a little bit about the researchers' mental health and all the support stuff that is available on EURAXESS or will be available on EURAXESS and other projects and activities that is out there. So first of all, Elisa, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to be able to explain what EURAXESS can do for the well-being of researchers.
Yes, and considering your situation, as usual, we have a huge workload, and we need to cope ourselves as if we are not researcher only, but with so many hats. I guess the initial interest could be also personal to explore on the mental health issues and what there can be done. So can you tell us about the EURAXESS and what helpful resources it has?
Well, definitely to your first question, I am not now a researcher. I was a researcher. I'm now a research manager. But as a researcher, definitely I felt on my own skin, what very heavy workload, very competitive, and difficult career can make on yourself. Now that as a research manager and with a heavy workload too, I can tell definitely. I have the same stressors, that make any human being to be stressed, chronic stress, and they could lead you to anxiety or depression. But I think the main difference now, what I can experience is how my institutions deal with the general work environment and the culture and the culture of work within the institution. And this is where we came kind of like, okay, what we can do for the mental health of researchers. We are from EURAXESS, an initiative that support the mobility and the career development of researchers. So then we came to our mind, like whenever we do any kind of intervention, especially on mobility and also in career development, we are somehow creating supportive career environments. I mean, to be that the researchers can be able to develop themselves, and also everybody knows that one of the most stressful situations in your lives is changing countries, changing houses, changing countries. It obviously it really depends on the circumstances that you move, but definitely it could be a very stressful situation. So we thought, hey, by doing supportive measures on mobility, we're actually providing well-being of researchers. But like I said, we also are supporting researchers towards their career development. That means also we all know as well that this is to develop talents is extremely linked to the institution policies, human resources policies. So as EURAXESS, we thought, what if we try to indicate or help also institutions to take into account the well-being of the researchers? So we kind of switched the way of thinking. Instead of just supporting researchers, we will support the institutions in otherwise improving their policies, their human resources policies, taking into account this idea of the mental health of researchers. And please bear with me. When we talk about mental health, we use the World Health Organization definition, that is the state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learning and working well. This is our idea of
Yeah.
career development, and contribute to the community. So here we are as EURAXESS, promoting mental health.
That's great. More of the awareness measures to make sure that everyone are on the same page regarding what we mean by mental health and how we can improve it. Of course, tools and resources are crucial, have crucial importance. But what I wanted to ask you, when you say on the institutional level, do you think same as like those research managers or specific departments that deal with mental health, or is it for example should be principal investigators aware that have a group of researchers under their control? uh, how you think of this structure when you say institutional?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for this question. When we started to create this tool for the what we have called SATIS, that is self-assessment tool for institutional supportive measures on mental health of researchers, then we did a heavy study on literature, and then it came it, it came clear to us that it's not, and also there is many recommendations as well from the European Commission and so on, not specifically for researchers, but in general for employees and employers, that there is many areas to be covered. It's not just a matter of promoting or preventing or even care, but it's more than that, because institutions can put in place some measures, like, for example, if someone has a mental disorder, unfortunately, it would be great if they have some kind of methods to intervene. Obviously, it's very important that supervisors, managers in lines, I will call them, even research managers or units, are aware of this mental health. But there is more than that. And basically, what we created a framework that cover 8 different areas. So very important is that the institution itself have policy and leadership in place that actually commit to support the mental health. Otherwise, you have different units doing things, but there is not a comprehensive, and there is no leadership. So this is very important. Then a second part was coordination and collaboration. Once again, you need to create a cohesive strategy. And also, the third one is basically that, creating the planning, and this planning of the action plan, the activities, the actions that you're going to be doing to promote and to prevent mental health needs to be co-designed. So researchers, and also it needs to be based on evidence. It's important, because you don't know how how important is an issue until you don't measure. And also a sentence that I like to say sometimes is, you don't measure what you don't care. So it's important to have numbers. Then it comes actions that we are more used to, like promoting and preventing. And in prevention, there is a ton of work, because basically the stresses in the work environment has been very well described. So and what we did it with this tool was actually to modify it a little bit, knowing the cultural, the academic cultural life, and the research cultural life, within public institutions. So we slightly fine tuning to actually make more meaningful the preventing actions to be more meaningful for researchers. Environments. And then obviously you need a care intervention that sometimes is needed in order to, when you have already mental disorders. Then also you have all of these measures needs to be visible and accessible, otherwise there's no point. And a very important one, like I said, something is important when we measure, so we need to monitor. So, and also in order to know if our institutional activities are regarding mental health have been positive, or negative or have any kind of impact, we need to measure them as well. So as you can see, it's very big area. So 8 different areas to cover to have a I would say impactful activities and to move forward the mental, I mean the well-being of the researchers in general.
Thank you very much for such an answer. Now I at least understand how it all this huge structure works. And regarding also the institutions, what I wanted to say, like referring to previous interviews on mental health that we had with the Luxembourg University, they have already established a structure that helps researchers on their way forward to move them a little bit out of this in case they encounter these mental health issues. And as I understand, it's a very well designed, I would say. They already established all these core nodes that are interconnected between themselves, like first you raise alarm regarding a person. For example, if you notice something that is normal versus not very normal, like common for this person or not very common. So this is very interesting how this ecosystem is surviving and trying to help healing themselves. But what I wanted to ask you, if there is not so well established system, and we should accustom that not every university has it support system in that respect. Also there are very huge universities, and there are small ecosystems that somewhat are trying to establish it right now. Did do they can they find something for them, for example, to guide them in establishing this system in the materials that are there available?
Yes, I mean, referring to your comment, definitely there is a lot of, I mean, good news is that some institutions are already working on the mental health of researchers. I mean, that was something that we also discovered when we were creating this tool. We actually had the support of a network of Spanish health promoter universities. That is a working group of the Spanish Conference of Rectors. So they were providing us, with their action plans, with their strategies, with their policies. We also have support from the French EURAXESS network that some universities were actually testing this tool, providing feedback on how this tool would be useful for them. And also, and very key and very important was the Center of Biomedical Engineering Research of the Portuguese INESTEC institute that really had, again, like Luxembourg University, a very good policy and actions and activities. Like I said, not only on care and intervention, but promoting. And you just referring is these nodes of units within institutions that need to coordinate in order to provide with meaningful and impactful services to researchers and to the mental health of researchers. So we try to put many of these inputs together. We create this test, and this test you can find it in the EURAXESS Spanish portal, soon to be also in the EURAXESS Central portal. How would help institutions, and this is actually with the institutions that we were testing this tool, they were telling us that that it really helps for them to bring the topic to current policies. I mean, on human resources for research, like for example, the ones who are making the actions files for the human resources strategy, excellence in research. The ones it's related with the charters. So it will help them to bring this perspective of the mental health of researchers, and many of the activities and many of the actions will be in synergy with already other actions in place. So for them was kind of like it's a guiding questionnaire. So you are going from areas, and it's basically asking the institution, and also obviously not only one person for the institution can fill this questionnaire. This should be this coordinated group of units taking care of the human resources policies, asking themselves like, hey, do you monitor, for example, the mental health of your researchers? Do you actually measure the quality of activities that you have? For example, do you have any care activity for your researches? So it is basically there a guiding questionnaire that you can score yourself, and then 2 years later on, and we also provide a pace on how often to do it. You come back to it and say, okay, this is something that we were slightly better, or we have now going a little bit worse, or the opposite, and hopefully the opposite, because this questionnaire is basically already providing ideas, on what to do. And a second part of this too, obviously, will be this gathering these practices, because, as you mentioned, there's many institutions already doing very, very interesting things and very, yeah, important things for the mental health of researchers.
Yeah, that sounds great. And embedding it into other different activities like HRs for HR excellence in research definitely makes it easier to have a complementary action than to establish a new activity in the university that should be treated as a because exactly as you said, one person is not capable of bringing everything together, monitoring and establishing this reasonable action plan that to treat these issues. Maybe I know that you had a little bit of historical overview. Maybe I know that you had tried to also offer not the courses but the mentoring sessions for researchers online. I wanted to ask you, how was it going? Any insights from this experience? Because maybe it's also an option for the institution not to try to stick to each schedule and or announcing a big day that today we come together, guys, and we are doing this and that, but maybe also explore these opportunities of being online, and maybe it's more effective even than to bring everyone together in one room and then discuss these issues. So any insights from you regarding these sessions?
Yeah, I mean, that what we did from EURAXESS actually, specifically, already naming that we are, what we did is kind of like tackling one of the work stressors that is well known that for researchers. Actually, I would say two. One is the uncertainty of your future. This is what I'm going to be, or what I'm doing, what I'm doing this for, and this is related with career trajectory and the career progression in the academic world. That sometimes researchers do not have a lot of information what they could do with the actual skills and the knowledge and the very general competencies, what they can do in the general labor market, not only in the one from the academic or the public research institutions. So when we thought, okay, this is done through a mentoring program, so Researchers Beyond Academia, REBECA mentoring program, definitely this could be done online. So actually, when you are thinking about the action plan that an institution can do for mental health of researchers, you can think of, different type of activities like these mentoring programs that actually they could serve for the mental well-being of researchers. And in one point within the REBECA initiative, actually with another type of scheme that we have with peer circle, we put more emphasis on the psychosocial support, from peer psychosocial support from their own peers of researchers to actually explore, what they can do in the future with their professional lives. Then we start to measure what if we have some impact on the mental health of and we started, at least not in a very clinical and very academic way, I must say, but we started to ask people, do you feel better? Basically, do you feel anxious?
Yeah.
Do you feel now that you have your place in this world and you don't feel so bad? And and we have very positive results. So it's like with these little interventions like mentoring, even if it's not specifically aiming for the mental health of researchers, we impacted their mental health. We are supporting them. And I am very sure that if we start to measure, to bring this perspective of mental health in many activities that we do as EURAXESS centers, like for example, the welcoming institutions. I mean, specifically tackling these researchers who are moving or my researchers at risk initiatives that we have. And if we started to measure the impact that we have on their mental health, I'm pretty sure we're going to have positive results. So many interventions can be done to support the mental health of researchers. Like you said, it's not needed to bring people together in one area and say, okay, we celebrate the mental health, which is an action that is perfectly great. But also you can think of actions, even online settings. REBECA is a mentoring program. It's an online program that supports a lot the mental health of researchers. Isolation, especially when you move in, feeling alone, feeling that you are the only one who is going to leave academia, you are the only one who is a failure because doesn't get on very well with the researcher, with the manager in line or group leader, because you don't understand the culture of the institution and what's my role here. I don't have any kind of control of experiments or kind of things I can do. This kind of stressors, very well defined stressors already. By doing interventions like, for example, I will dream to do a leadership program for junior group leaders. I mean, human beings, they need to learn. And one of the interventions that we did in the last ERA Talent project was also these webinars with researchers trying to understand the group leaders. It's like, what's going on, and to improve also these relationships within the academia. That is another of the work stressors, So yeah, many different activities can be done. And even the ones you don't think that they are not even designed specifically for mental health, they can really support the mental health of researchers.
Yeah, for example, not being ignorant is already something, actually. That at least I know that someone cares is so rewarding sometimes.
Exactly. Someone cares, you have a place in the institution, someone is waiting for you. You have an impact on real world, sometimes within the walls of academia, you cannot feel your role in the world, somehow, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
So, and this is extremely stressful for any human being. So just tackling these kind of things can help a lot researchers.
Yeah, that's a great note. I think that we need to finalize already. So all the resources that Elisa was referring to will be put in the description to this episode. And you are super welcome to explore and see how they can help you on the institutional level as well. Thank you very much, Elisa, for joining us.
Thank you a lot for inviting me to talk about mental health researchers and the role that as EURAXESS we can support it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the EURAXESS Smart Talks podcast.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode and can't wait to share more with you next time.
You can follow us and find more episodes on the EURAXESS portal, our social media profiles, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode was prepared by hosts Daria Aksionova and Jovan Aranjelovic, editor Isar Peer, and is dedicated in memoriam of Professor Miroslav Trajanovic.